As you might have seen already in the video about the latest build of Flight Simulator 2024 Sim Update number 2, the EFB got another update. In this video we're gonna look at those details. Let's roll the intro and then let's look at the details. As you might have seen already on one of my earlier videos, the EFB already got an update, but since the last two beta builds it received more updates. In this video we're gonna look at those details. So the EFB, right here it's open, but if you would close it and if you would hit tab, right, that's how to open it. And if you would like to have it even larger, you can expand it, right, in this window, or if you want to get it even bigger, you can expand it to this one. It looks really big in this case because I would say decreased resolution to make it clear for you, or a little bit more clear for you. But as you can see, if you have a screen resolution of 9020 by 1080, then it almost doesn't fit anymore. So that might also be a challenge. So first of all, right, there are some buttons here on the top which have been replaced. Because previously there were more buttons, but it was a little bit, I would say, busy. So what they now have done is the following, right? You can open a plan by clicking these options. Then you can input it from the web, which is if you use the web planner for Flight Simulator 2020. The load PLN file, if you create a PLN file and then store it locally and want to load it. Enter the route string, as already discussed also, can be created by using SimBrief, for example. And request from avionics, which pulls it from the avionics from the aircraft. Similar options can be seen to the save one, but those are limited now because they split the save options and the send options. So the save options are to save the plan as a PLN file or save it to the web. In that case, you will be able to see it or you will be able to load it on the web. And then we've got the send options, which has three options now: send to the ATC and avionics, send to the ATC only, and send avionics. Send to avionics sends it to the avionics of the aircraft, send to ATC sends it to the ATC, but you can also select this one, which I would say allows you to send it to both. Keep in mind that in some aircraft this currently doesn't work and you might need to make some adjustments, so that's to say something which you need to keep in mind. But again, cool things. Now, if we scroll to the top right, we can see the performance where we can assign the flight altitude. We can also set the departure altitude. So in my case, right, as you can see, I already played a bit with it and I set Schiphol Airport as a departing airport. And here you can directly see that new warning. This new warning is also now there because it now says the cruise altitude cannot be reached. Please set a lower altitude. So it keeps in mind the aircraft which you selected, but also the plan which you created. And based on that will make some recommendations. If I now would press auto, it would auto adjust, but I of course can also manually change it if I want. In this case, it has selected runway 36 Lima already. There's no departure being added, but you can see that there now are also arrows, right? So if I don't want to see the departure airport, I simply can close it. If I want then to add a departure, I can simply click this one and then select the departure which I prefer, right? So you can change it. And if I select it, you can see that it directly shows on the map where it goes to. This is not new functionality, right? This was already there, but just to show you how this works. So if we want to use this one, we can press change and now it has been added and I can close this one also. Then we're coming to the next section, which is the en route section. In the en route section, also some things have changed, right? So to do this, we first need to set the destination airport because you can see currently it's grayed out, although it might be a little bit hard to see. So there's also no way to find the route. So let's do that. So I'll go to the bottom and then set, let's say, JFK as the destination airport. You can see it's over here. I don't select an approach yet, and now everything has become active. In this view, I can now select the No Airways. I can select the Victor Airways, which are applicable in the US and Canada, right? Which are the points between the VORs or the VOR regions. Then we've got the Jet Airways and we've got, of course, the VFR. It's a little bit weird because in the release notes they say that this one should be on the top, but it looks like that they still did make that change. So maybe they were, I would say, are already planning some changes. But for now, I will select Jet Airways and then I can press the Find Route option, which adds directly all kind of other interesting stuff to the route. So then I can close it again. And this is how you can see that you can easily collapse the flight plan, or I would say expand it. On the top, there's also an option here, which allows you to close everything and open everything, which makes it, I would say, really easy. In addition to that, you can sometimes see that there's now also performance data. So in this case, the performance profile data is not available, so configure it manually, which allows you now to press configure, and then you can, I would say, specify these items. So you can see that the fuel burn rate is not specified and also the climb rate. So it will directly tell you using red markers which ones you need to, let's say, fill in, right? So that's really useful. I do expect that for the flight, at least for the aircrafts which are included in Flight Simulator, that they will update this so you don't have to specify it, because hey, how would you know this as a normal player? Likely not. You of course can use the manuals which can be found on the internet, or maybe use the fora from Flight Simulator where you can find the information. But this is, I would say, really hard to say. So let's say if we put in 30 here, hopefully that isn't the case, and then maybe 34, 35 here, you can see that directly after that, I would say the red markers are removed. And if we now go back, you can still see that that marker isn't gone yet. So likely again, this is, I would say, one of the new things which they have added, but likely they forgot to, I'd say, kind of adjust this based on what I see, because hey, we provided everything, although that climb test is not provided. So maybe that's the cause. Let's say 180, 150. Now everything is filled. Well, this one isn't. So let's also provide a value here. 20. Of course not. This needs to be a little bit more. Let's say 4,000 feet per minute. Just typing in some numbers. But here you can still see that although we specified things, almost specified all the things. Now let's hope that this will be good. You can also see that it will say there's still some work to do, right? Because it also accepts values which are completely incorrect. But even I would say with specifying all the values, you can see that it's not really working at the moment. So keep that in mind, that this likely requires some rework or some more work before it's ready in the final build of Flight Simulator 2024 Sim Update number 2. But at least it's, I would say, a nice view. Besides that, there are some other cool things, right? So if I now send it to the avionics, or send it to the AC, sorry, you can see that it's directly grayed out, right? So it will directly remove it. And now it has planned the flight, right? You can see all the beacons, nothing serious. But if I would now move completely in the wrong direction, there's a new button, and that's this button. It says recenter on the route, right? The recenter on aircraft, you already had it. But now you also can say recenter on route, and that will show you the route which you configured, right? Nice option, I would say. I love it because it shows me some more information. Besides that, you can also hide the flight information, but I don't think that is really new. You can also change the display size. In addition to that, what you can do is you can search for information. I can search for information, for example, I can search for EHAM, right? And then can show the weather. This also, I would say, has been updated. In the previous builds, there were some issues. By default, it will refresh the data every 5 minutes, as you can see over here. But if you want to refresh it manually, you can also now do it by pressing that refresh button. The bad thing is that you don't see anything happen, so hopefully it will work, but since it still is 2051, I likely need to wait a little bit before I can press it again. So keep in mind that this one can be used if you want to refresh it, because normally this is done every 5 minutes, and that same thing is applicable to the TAF data, which also has the same, say, limitations or functionalities. In addition to that, of course, you can view the maps, right? You can view the maps over here. And what they mentioned is that if you now move away, it will automatically remove the search field from the map. However, I wasn't able to reproduce that, to be honest. But here you can see it's directly gone. If I like it, I would say I'm doubting. I would prefer to have it. By default, if you reopen it, you can see that it directly refreshes the data, which is also not mentioned in the release notes. But this is something which you would say need to be aware of, and is kind of easy for you to manage. Right, so really cool functionality in this latest build of Flight Simulator 2024 Sim Update number 2 beta, which again received some nice functionalities in the EFB. Still some work to do, as you could see already in the performance section, where there's some work to do. But that's always, I would say, good to understand that it's work in progress, and likely it might work for some other aircrafts. If you want to get rid of the flight plan, really easy, simply press reset. That will reset the flight plan, and that's also where we end this video. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button, and of course keep an eye on my channel for more videos about Sim Update number 2 for Flight Simulator 2024. Thanks for watching and happy flying.